The two again early in round number 2. Brad Bacali will separate the men.
Miller just landed a nice right hook, left hook.
Tony Miller has held the Australian lightweight title on this occasion since February 29, 1996. So almost 2 years. He defeated Darryl Hiles with a knockout in the 12th and final round. Then defended against Paul Nassari and also knocked out Mick Dagsy, who previously ahead of that fight was undefeated. Well, Dagsy lasted less than 1 round against Miller. Getting willing here in round number 2.
Tony Miller fighting his fight. Roughhouse tactics and inside and just working away. Tony very composed. Touching Danny McGrail with left hooks.
McGrail unable to use his edge in reach at the moment. It's almost 12 centimetres. But undeterred, Tony Miller stands right in centre ring. He needs to be a little sharper than McGrail at the moment. Certainly finding the target a little more than McGrail. Brad Bacali warning Tony Miller for use of the head. Lancing right hand lead there from Tony Miller.
Tony's just cruising along, John.
He's dictating the tempo. At the moment he has McGrail a little flummoxed. McGrail prepared to get a little busier now. Leads with the right hand, scoring punch. Tony Miller comes back now, holding the back of the head as well, which will draw the attention of Brad Bacali. Crowd don't like Miller's intentions at the moment. The words of advice from McGrail's corner are not to fall into the trap. Keep boxing. Don't get sucked into fighting Tony Miller at close range. He'll eat you alive.
Good right hand by Tony Miller.
McGrail's left hand is dangerously low, leaving himself a little open for Miller.
Another good left hook. Danny McGrail's got to get that right hand up and protect himself from those left hooks from Tony Miller.
Round number 2, unofficially on my card, will go to the champion Tony Miller. And the question is with Tony Miller, how much longer can he continue with the moment? Danny McGrail came into this fight as one of the best lightweights in the country. Tony Miller has his measure at the moment.
Combination, just let him flow. You have to load him all up. After 6 minutes, like a fall in the okay? And then finish over top of him. But you've got to keep the pressure on him now. Make him work, right? How long we got? Have a drink. Right? Don't let him take the lead off you. And if he's roughing you up, don't fall into brawl and doing your lolly. Box smart. Yep. It'll all come into it later, understand? Now come on, take the lead, win this round. Come.
Again emphasising to Danny McGrail to be a little bit smarter in this fight. Set for action, round number 3, the Australian Lightweight Championship. Tony Miller holds the crown at the moment. He is in the blue with a red stripe. Danny McGrail in the purple trunks. And with his work cut out.
Danny McGrail will have to do something if he wants to take the title away from Tony Miller.
At the moment, Shannon Taylor has Miller in front by a point. He had him in front by a couple. And it's getting willing again in round number 3. Right hand was a scoring punch again from Tony Miller. Danny McGrail has taken some punishment around the left eardrum. Another right hand from Tony Miller.
The left hook's been a very good punch for Tony tonight.
Also, the right has been effective. At the moment, Danny McGrail is having trouble getting off any punches of authority. Miller is a little quicker, a little more nimble. Frustrating Danny McGrail at the moment. Can't help but admire Tony Miller. Still going. Still setting the tempo, making the pace, and outsmarting his opponents. Let's not forget the McGrail.
Good short right hand.
Very well schooled fighter. Good right hand. Arguably the best punch so far in the fight from Tony Miller. He's starting to catch up with Danny McGrail a little here in round number 3. Certainly McGrail can't stand there for 10 rounds, 12 rounds and take this.
He's got to do something. He's got to change his attack or just running the left hooks. I think he's got to circle the opposite way. Oh, he's running into it again. Good punch
with the left hand from Tony Miller. He goes to work again in the neutral corner, swarming over Danny McGrail.
One thing we know about Danny McGrail after this fight, that he has got a decent chin. He's taking some great left hooks. Tony almost looks like he's having a good time in there. He's just... If you notice that Tony hardly moves off the Fox Sports logo. He controls the centre ring very well.
McGrail has never been stopped in his pro career so far. 10 fights, only 2 defeats, coming in 8 rounders against Stephen Marks, the very accomplished Victorian, and then Stuart Patterson mid last year. And here against Tony Miller, his work cut out. The right hand from McGrail just grabbed the attention of Tony Miller. Now they go hammer and time. End of round number 3. And the fans getting behind Danny McGrail. He came on strong toward the end of the round. The 2 minutes and 50-something seconds ahead of that belong to the champ Tony Miller. Still ahead, our feature event. But back to the Australian lightweight championship battle between Danny McGrail in the purple trunks and Tony Miller in the blue with red stripe. First 3 rounds have been dictated by Tony Miller, but right toward the end of that previous round, McGrail landed a right hand. Just seemed to worry Miller a little, and there's a left hand getting through. Is the tide starting to turn? Tony Miller isn't going to die wondering. He'll keep coming forward, but McGrail just garnered some confidence from that finish to round number 3.
That's what he needs at the moment, Johnny's confidence, Danny McGrail.
Now moving a little more freely. Slipping the punches a little better.
Certainly McGrail would have had a nervous night last night. You know, big fight in such a fighting a guy with such a reputation as Tony Miller.
There is Shannon Taylor's scorecard so far. 10-9 in round number 3. He has Miller ahead by a point or 2. I have 10-9s. A shutout so far for Tony Miller. Danny McGrail, the more this fight goes on, the better he's looking. Certainly taking nothing away from Tony Miller. But with his huge support from the crowd, Danny McGrail growing in confidence. And his hands are a little higher now. Well, here comes Miller storming forward again. Working away to the body. Good left hand from Miller. Was the best punch in that exchange, and here he comes rushing forward.
Lift your right, Danny. Lift your right.
He expected Tony Miller to tire the longer the fight went on against Stuart Patterson, but that wasn't the case. For a 34-year-old man, he is very fit.
Danny McGrail starting to land nice combinations here. He's growing in confidence, Danny McGrail.
Sweated the early storm. Still taking plenty of leather from Tony Miller.
This is where McGrail's got to dig deep and get on top of the older man.
In his recent bout with Stuart Patterson, Danny McGrail, he lost in 8 rounds. Patterson isn't a big hitter, but McGrail was down in the opening round. But this has been his best round in the fight so far, Danny McGrail. Body shot from Miller. McGrail answers with one of his own.